Welcome back to FryMinis. I'm Eric, and today we're going to talk about taking a vacation. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you enjoy D&D, miniature painting, or TTRPGs in general. And if you enjoy those things, there's a very good chance you might be borderline obsessive about them. No judgment. I've got a YouTube channel, an Instagram, a Twitter, an entire Discord server, a huge wall of minis, and a Patreon to help support it all. It's pretty clear where I land on this spectrum. But while we're at it, I'd like to thank my patrons for helping keep the lights on. Thank you, Spud Club. You are the best. So if you do anything for long enough at such an intense level, burnout will naturally occur. Whether you're playing, DMing, painting, or whatever, we all get exhausted or overwhelmed. That threshold will vary by person and by activity, but it's an ever-looming presence for all of us. It's very important to respond to those feelings. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just hit pause and take a nap about it. It's been a rough year for everyone on the planet. Your friends and fans will get it. They'll understand. And if they don't, maybe those relationships need to be reconsidered. Okay, so that sounds easy, but how do we actually do it? First, I want to level set a little bit. It's important to remember that our commitments do matter. In a vacuum, we always want to follow through with our obligations. But sometimes those commitments aren't sustainable. You know how sometimes at work or school, you'll have a big special project. It'll come up and you'll throw a ton of time into it just to finish it. You'll work 6 a.m. to midnight, a day or two to power through it to get it done. So those are part of life. That's going to happen. And in my opinion, those special events can be a fun change of pace with thrill and a little excitement. But the problems really begin to appear when you do those every single day just to get by. When you're clocking 12 or more hours per day just to meet the basic commitments of your job, it might be worthwhile considering how work gets done. If you're spending 20 hours per week to plan a 4-hour game, you're going to become exhausted after that initial rush of a new campaign wears off. If you're spending 12 hours on a single Goblin mini just for tabletop play, you're going to get frustrated when you look at the rest of the unpainted warband waiting for you. You have to ask yourself a very hard and very serious question. Are my efforts producing the results I want at a cost I can sustain? If you're feeling burnt out about painting, just take a break. Put down the brush, pick up a book or a ball, do something totally different. Shake it off. Watch some videos on ergonomics and posture. Maybe you're a hunter and the chronic back pain you're developing is throwing you off. Go get some social interaction. Just try to pull yourself out of your own head. Only you can figure out what will specifically help you get you out of your funk. Generally speaking, painting burnout is a solo problem. We can't say the same about D&D and TTRPGs. Gaming naturally involves other people and social contracts. Those relationships can easily build up feelings of responsibility and obligations to the group. And to a point, those are good. You should typically want to work together with your friends to achieve your goals. That's how societies work. As with all things though, moderation is key. If you need a break, take a break. Player or DM, we all have bad weeks or moods. We all have outside influences and responsibilities. Gaming means a lot to all of us, but sometimes other things just take priority. Okay, so you're the DM and you're at your wit's end with campaign planning. What do? You've got some great options though. You've got an entire table of great options. Explain your position to your players. There's a good chance at least one of them could run a couple of lightweight one-shots while your main campaign goes on pause. Or maybe they could even take over for the next campaign to let you play. Heck, you don't even need to stick to the same game. If you're playing weekly, maybe the last week of the month it just becomes a board game or social night. Spend some time together just interacting, all while practicing proper safety procedures, of course. Do a potluck, have a movie night, or just cancel the game if you need the time. The more notice you can provide for any change, the better. But if you're really frazzled and not in the right space an hour before the game, a last-minute canceled game is still going to be better than a bad game or a friend in a bad mental space. And if you're a player, just let the group know you can't make it. Again, the more notice you can provide, the better, but we all know sometimes that's just not possible. It's a literal game time decision. A Dungeon Master has many ways to care for your character's absence. Depending on the in-game situation, maybe they stayed at the tavern or went off for some downtime activities. The DM or another player could play your character and hopefully avoid any major choices or expenses. Personally, I prefer to simply hand wave the characters coming and going. If the group levels up while you're gone, you level up. If the group dies while you're gone, you die. These options, of course, will vary from group to group on what works, but my point is you've got them. There are options. It's okay if you miss. Your group can survive without you as long as you're taking care of yourself and doing what's important. So you may have noticed everything that we've talked about today involves something that can be very challenging. Open and honest communication. It sounds so easy, but sometimes it just isn't. And the only way to get better at it, though, is trying. These are your friends. These are your family. This is the time to develop that skill. Be upfront with your needs, and they'll understand. They've been there before. It's normal. It's human. And it's okay. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear in the comments how you handle burnout. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Does this look like vacation clothes? I think so. I hope so. Luau.